Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's been a while since I posted a video, but I thought I'd post something today that's been occurring to me a little while now. I believe it will be relevant to a lot of people on here. If you have not gone through it, you probably will go through at some point in your life, and this is just to prepare you for some of the things that you may be dealing with at the time, and how you can best recover from the process. As you can tell from the title, this video is how to recover from a heartbreak. I've had to learn a lot of these lessons literally from trial and error, because I know for some time I had to literally Google how to recover from those instances and those situations. So here's to hoping this will be useful to somebody, and somebody can find some good and very useful tips from this video. First point is prayer. I cannot hammer this enough. You need to be praying like a lot when you go through a heartbreak. Even before you go through it, usually when you can sense what's about to happen, unless you ambushed or the guy just surprises you or he just ghosts on you, or the woman I should say. But the whole point is to be aware of what's happened and approach it with prayer, because the thing is, you can't heal from a heartbreak in your own strength. It's a spiritual instance as physical as it looks. It's a spiritual instance, and you need to recover wholly so that your soul and your spirit and your mind will be intact, so that you can actually move out of that space into a new season where you can thrive and be fully effective with your mind and your body and your whole being function properly. So I cannot mention enough that you should be praying immediately that you notice that any signs of a heartbreak. And for most of the time, signs of a heartbreak is depression, anxiety, worry, stress, and obviously the obvious circumstances. Sorry guys, my video cut off. I had to sort it out. Second point is actually I didn't finish my first point. My first point, I was talking about prayer. One thing that I'll mention is that if you were intimate in your relationship, or you fornicated, or whatever you did in that relationship, I would recommend fasting. Fast and pray, because whether you like it or not, you have formed a soul tie that you need to break in order to move on to your next phase in life. And once you can remain attached to that person in your past, a lot of the things from that relationship and those soul and will issues that were in that relationship are still with you, to be honest, and you can't heal until you've properly shed all of that. So I'd recommend fasting. There was a time that I had a breakup, and I had to literally fast for several days at a time. And to be honest with you, when I came out of that thing, I realized how effective fasting and prayer was, and I was truly healed. It did take me a few remembrances or memory after that time, to bring me back into that situation, but the impact wasn't as dangerous or as difficult as it was initially prior to the fast. So I would definitely recommend fasting. And another thing that I'll recommend is crying. You need to cry. If you don't cry from a breakup and it hurt you so much that you just go ahead and just jump onto the next relationship, or how they say the monkey claw thing, you literally hop from one relationship to another and another and another, and it's like you don't actually deal with your emotions and your feelings. Listen, it will come back and bite you, and by the time you realize, you are rotten, not just broken. So I would definitely recommend cry over that thing. Whatever you need to do to respond to a heartbreak or to recover from it, do your due diligence for your own sake. Cry and knock to a friend who will listen to you, a respectable friend, or somebody that you trust, family member, whatever, somebody. Or even if you can't do that, do a video journal, something. This leads me to my next point: create a diary of your own thoughts, and how you're processing, the heartbreak, and how you're planning to recover from it. You have to have all these things in place, and there has to be a lot of self-reflection in order to be able to break the kind of hold that a breakup has on you. Breakups are very damaging, to the point that I feel like sometimes it can make you feel like a divorcee or a widow. And I do apologize to anybody who's watching this and it falls into that category. If you're not married and you have a heartbreak, it does feel like that, and it takes a long time, because the funny thing is, you see the person is alive, they're well, you see them around, their Facebook and Instagram and everything else is intact, but you just can't get access to them, and it's frustrating. It can have a serious emotional and mental damage to you that you can't really have a good understanding at the time of what is happening to you. So I encourage you to, you know, take on board some of these things that I've mentioned. Another thing that I'm going to mention is that write 10 lessons that you learned from that relationship, and write down the 10 instances or moments or situations that triggered those lessons for you, or the moments where you recognize this is a lesson from that relationship, or look back and try and recollect why you think you've learned that lessons and what moment in that situation that you picked up that lesson. Honestly, it will help you so much. When I first had a breakup, I literally had to write those things down, and I realized that listen, I can tell my daughter this, and so I started writing a journal for my daughter, and to this day I still have that book. And every now and then when I pick up a lesson, it's not a heartbreak book or anything, or a burn book or anything, don't misinterpret what I'm saying, but I did write those lessons, and every now and then I do update it as life lessons to, you know, to pass on my daughter. I'm not anticipating that she'll go through a lot of heartbreaks, but I'm sure she'll go through some sort of disappointment, and I hope those things guide her. Another thing I'm going to say is to start taking pictures of yourself every day, and to track yourself, how you're developing throughout the heartbreak. Sometimes when you go through a heartbreak, is either you start gaining a lot of weight or you start losing weight. Your skin just, you know, your skincare just reduces, you can't take care of yourself properly, and these are moments to be able to observe yourself and to look at yourself critically and properly. If you're somebody who already criticizes yourself, I wouldn't recommend you do this, but if you're not the type of person, this is a good way to track how you're progressing and how you're changing throughout that ordeal, and be aware of how you're changing physically as well, so that you can work on improving how you look like and how you come across, really. It will help you adjust certain things, and but if you're able to pay attention to that, by the time you come out of the heartbreak, you will notice that you have either improved in how you look or how you sound, or something beautiful has happened to you, you know, outside of that journey, really. Another thing that I'll recommend is start dressing nicer and go out a bit more if you need that kind of thing to, you know, change things for yourself. Because some people, when they go through heartbreaks and they stay home or they stay in enclosed spaces, it triggers memory of them being in little spaces and small spaces with the other person that just left them. And you need to get out and engage with other people, whether it's your friends, whether it's finding new friends, but don't go out without truly being without the intention to heal, rather than going out to just hop onto another person or be I don't know, spotted by another potential guy or woman, you know, to come and waste your time and use you again, or I don't know. Yeah, so be careful of that. So go out, take pictures, dress nicer, whatever you need to do, really. If it's your makeup that you need to do, if it's your hair that you need to do a little bit more, if it's lashes that you need to like start putting off, if it's your nails you need to do, listen, do those things. For me, I know certain things that trigger me or make me start feeling beautiful, and one is by praying in the morning, doing my nails, doing my hair, putting on mascara, or even putting on individual lashes, getting my lashes done. Listen, I start feeling pretty immediately. So when I start feeling heartbreak or anything that's like remotely disappointing for me in that kind of way, I start doing those things just to, like, I don't know, awaken my spirit and make me feel a little bit brighter about myself. One last thing that I'm gonna say is to focus on, I have no idea what I wrote here, focus on something else. I did say in the beginning for you to start focusing on praying. Another thing I will say is focus on getting something, achieving something in your life at that stage. If it's money that you need to earn more of, you really need to work on it. Save your money. Listen, don't get caught up in like the hype and I'm heartbroken, so I'm just gonna start spending, I'm gonna buy all these clothes and all these things to, you know, I don't know, appease your spirit. Listen, don't get carried away. Save a lot of money in that time frame. If it's God you want to focus on. If you're a singer, you want to focus more on learning lyrics, harmonies, attending shows. If you're a movie, whatever, and you want to just watch bare movies, or I don't know, go to the theater, go to the cinema by yourself, like do all these things, but be aware of yourself and be conscious of not wasting time or wasting any of your resources throughout that period. I'm gonna give you one final one final point that I think will be useful to you. When I was talking about prayer, I forgot to mention a scripture that I think will be useful. Is Psalm 34 verse 18 and Psalm 147 verse 3. The first one, Psalm 34 18, it says, "The Lord is near to them that are brokenhearted." And I mean, there is more to it, but this is a bit that I remember. In Psalm 147 verse 3, it says, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." Heartbreak is a spiritual wound, and you need to heal it. You can't heal it by yourself. You have to go to the one who takes care of your soul and your spirit, and he will mend those wounds. It's God's job to heal your wound. He's Jehovah Rapha. He's the only person that can heal your wound. So don't be like, I'm gonna be the doctor that fixes myself, and I'm going. Yes, there is some responsibility on yourself to go through certain steps in order to recover from the heartbreak and have the experience that you want to have in life. But at the same time, you can't do it without acknowledging that God takes care of your soul, and he's a person who is taking you through this journey. And whether you like it or not, that journey, God is aware of that journey, and he knows how to heal you even while you're in that that valley. So yeah, these are the things off the top of my head that I can think of. If I can't think of anything else in future, again, I'm gonna share. As always, I'm gonna share them. So yeah, hope this video is useful to somebody. Do your due diligence, pray, take heed to some of the steps that I've mentioned, and I hope it will be a bit lesson to you, and I hope somebody picks